In 2007, when I was preparing to bring the first paranormal group up here, there was a non-profit group that was using this room right over here as a place to give away free food, clothing, and so forth.
What is this room?
It was a gift shop when the hospital was open. I went in and asked the lady, I told her I was going to be bringing a paranormal group up that Saturday and just wanted to let them know we were coming. And I said, is this place haunted? And she goes, no, this place isn't haunted. And her employee was going. So after I got her out, and I went back and talked to the employee, and I said, what have you had happen? And she said, every night I turn off the coffee maker. Every morning the coffee maker is back on. Every night I turn the lights off. Every morning the lights are back on. So forth. They also had a, probably gonna get the name wrong, I think it's airsoft, where they shoot these little BBs at each other. They had a group of young people that were renting on the weekends, and they were playing that up here, and I talked to them, and they said that they had seen or had picked up numerous number of orbs in photographs. Now, I don't give orbs a lot of credit.
Yeah, same here.
And, you know, but the girl said that OB, which we'll go to here in a minute, was one of the most haunted areas she'd ever been in. Because every time she'd go in, they would vacuum up these little balls and resell them. And she said somebody was constantly closing doors on her when she was in there.
Oh, really?
Okay, we're going to come back to that a little bit more. We're going to go here into the snack bar now. This was the snack bar, cafeteria, whatever. This is where employees would eat. It was only open for breakfast and lunch and closed about 1:30 in the afternoon. It had booths by the windows and tables and chairs out here in the center area. Now this was seen originally by a nurse from ICU, and when we get up there, I'll show you the view that she would have had. At 9:30 one night, she wasn't busy and she was looking out the window, and she looked down there and said there was a woman sitting here in a booth like she was drinking a cup of coffee. She calls the operator and says, who's in the cafeteria? And the operator says, there's nobody down there. It's been closed since 1:30. But the funny thing is, I just got a call from there, and there was nobody on the other end of the line. She said, I'm going to send the security guard in there to go check on it. So the security guard came down, unlocked the door, came in here. There was nothing here. A month later, a nursing supervisor was a little late coming into work. Comes, parks out here in the front parking lot, and sees the same woman sitting in the same booth at the same spot like she was drinking coffee.
Now, when was the hospital built, you say?
This building was built sometime after I left employment of this hospital in 1974, and they built it sometime between there and about 80. This particular room.
Dressed in modern clothing, or did they even?
They said a hospital gown.
Oh, hospital gown.
Yeah.
Okay. Like it was a patient that came down here.
Like it was a patient or something down here. So, but this, as the age of the building goes, this is one of the newest sections.
Okay.
Okay.
When was the building first put up?
1912.
1912.
Yeah.
Okay.
And that would have been the center section, and then the wings were added on each end later. As if you're facing the hospital, the left-hand wing was the segregated wing. And wasn't when I was working here, though. You know, we had desegregated by that point. But and then they eventually, Lincoln County eventually ended up building a blacks-only hospital across town. And so that wing was no longer used as a segregated wing, but it was just general patient population. I think we can cut through here and go to OB, it's clear. The chapel is right here. There's not any stories in the chapel, but
No stories?
I want to use it in the middle of the night. But numerous times with groups I've been with, they hear voices coming down this hallway. They can't usually understand them, but they've commented numerous times that they'll hear somebody down there talking. and so forth.
Just a quick question too. We noticed it's in pretty much disarray in the hospital. Was there any storms or anything that may have caused a lot of this, or is this just over the years it's just deteriorated?
Well, just as soon as they finally got the approval to start building a new hospital, they basically quit doing maintenance on the building. I mean, it didn't look this bad while we had patients here, but
Well,
they just didn't put in time, and so the
Just
roof,
time
the
has got
roof
to
has
it.
leaked and so forth. And as told you earlier, the first few times we came, most of the windows were gone. I don't know how long it sat empty before. Well, I guess about 5 years, because we moved out here in 2001, and it was 2007, 6 years before I came up here. As I said, it's not in a great neighborhood. While we were trying to move TVs out over to the new hospital, they took them all off the walls, and they took one load over to the hospital, and they came back, the other load had already been stolen.
Lord.
And I have friends on the police department that they used to chase homeless people and drug dealers out here all the time.
Hopefully we won't run across any.
Hopefully not.
I guess we let the truck running, didn't we? Well, it'd be hard to hide a ghost trailer going across town, wouldn't it?
This is the entrance to the emergency room. The first night I brought the first paranormal group up here, one of the guys gave me an EVP meter. And he said, this thing's really weak. It's like the first one I ever bought. He said, if this thing goes off, you're standing on our toes. And I said, okay. This actually, that night was one of our last stops on the trip. And by this time, we'd been at it about 3.5 hours. I was getting pretty tired. And they said, well, I want to see what the morgue is. I said, okay, you're going to be disappointed. It's just this closet down here where these double doors are.
Just a little small area.
Yeah, that's all it is. You know, we don't keep bodies for any length of time. The funeral homes come and get them relatively fast, so there's not much of a need for a very big morgue. I said, those double doors down there on the right, I said, nothing was ever reported down there and so forth. And I'm sitting here thinking, if I was a spirit, I'd be around closer to where I died, and that would be the trauma room over here. So I walked over here, and just as I got to the entrance of the trauma room, that EP meter lit up with every light it had. I jumped out of my skin. They come running around there. I could get the thing to repeat it. And then they decided it's this power meter on the wall. I said, but there's no electricity on in the building. Well, there's got to be some. That's what it is. That's what's causing it. So a month later, we came up. We did the whole deal, whole weekend. Went by there. No response from the EVP meters whatsoever.
Huh.
But
That's interesting.
it was actually that one right there. They thought it was setting it off, but we couldn't repeat it a month later. These are the trauma rooms. There's no ghost stories or anything tied to this room and stuff, but as I said, to me, if I was gonna be here,
This will be where you'd spend your time.
probably, what in the world on this thing?
That's some fake blood that was put in here.
Probably.
That's what it was. That's what it was told on.
It's not real blood, I can tell you that. All right. This room right here,
This one?
yeah. And I've been told this by at least 6 different nurses that worked in the emergency room here, that they would walk by, this room would be empty, and they'd walk by, and there'd be somebody sitting in a chair. They'd come back, and it wasn't there. It was realistic enough to the point that on occasions, I'd be standing around there at the nurse's station around the corner, and they'd come around and say, who'd y'all put in, I can't remember what the room number was now, but who'd y'all put in room 5? We didn't put anybody in room 5.
So
Well,
I was
like
in
this
there.
morning, I just saw somebody in there and they'd go back and they'd be gone. And it's happened numerous times, multiple times, sometimes with the same person. The night we brought the first group down here, they were coming out the door. I took a photograph of one of the women coming out of the door here, and there's an outline of somebody else standing right next to her,
Wow,
and so forth.
that's awesome.
You come on in here if you want to. But they said typically it'd be somebody, they'd have a chair over here for like a family member or something. And they wouldn't be in the bed, they'd be in the chair.
Was that back in the 70s or the 90s?
Say again?
Was that back in the 70s or the 90s when you worked here?
That occurred in the 90s.
90s.
This emergency room, this section of the emergency room was not open until about 1974, just about the time I left my first time.
Here is the cardiac room.
Right there.
This is it?
Mm-hmm. That one got cardiac patients primarily, and secondary was this one.
That one?
Yeah. That was doctor's sleeping lounge that you're looking in right now. Yeah, that was where the doctor was, you know, most ER doctors work 24-hour shifts and stuff, so they usually have a room where they can get off and sleep and stuff when it.
Radiology.
Radiology off here to the left, that's actually the newest section of the building. Probably built somewhere in the mid-'80s. Laboratory at the very end of the hall down there, and there's no reported stories of
Nothing.
any of those. Okay? All right. Y'all ready to haul up some stairs?
I reckon we can.
If they were still practicing, I wouldn't hesitate to ask them about it. But most of the doctors that he worked with have passed away.
You can feel a breeze in here.
Yeah.
Oh, that's because where we came in at.
The
Let me go turn
first
it
time I brought the paranormal group up here, I wanted to come up and check the safety of the building and so forth, just so I could kind of give them some kind of idea. I didn't know if any of them might decide to bring some children or grandchildren with them. You know, I'd never been through one, so I didn't know what was going to be involved. Stupid, I came up without a flashlight. And I went up this stairwell here. This is one that was used primarily by physicians. And there's no windows or anything in it. Got one of the housekeeping personnel that had worked here as long as I had and helped clear the hospital out when it moved. He starts going, "Oh, you don't go in that building, it's full of snakes." And I have a real phobia for snakes. And so I said, "I'm not worried about it, you know." So I get up halfway up the stairwell. I don't know if y'all are old enough to remember this, but girls up until I was like in the 8th grade couldn't wear pants to school. They had to wear dresses. And when they were little, they used to wear petticoats underneath them, and they made this swishing noise.
Well, I'm old enough to remember that.
They made this swishing noise whenever they walked anywhere. They couldn't have snuck up on anybody. And I get about halfway up that stairwell, and it's so dark I can't see the hand in front of my face, and all of a sudden I hear this swishing noise going on. And I'm getting a flashlight. So I only live a couple blocks here. Went back home, got a flashlight, went back up. Didn't have anything else happen then. Didn't say anything to the paranormal group about that happening. Took them through the hospital, like I'm doing you now. Told them all the stories and so forth. Then they went back out to their cars to get their recorders. They didn't, or to get their cameras, I guess. They had their recorders, but get cameras and some other equipment, whatever. And we had actually parked in the back of the hospital and come up the stairwell from the basement. The guys got up first and met in the snack bar. That was kind of our central command center. And then the women come up there, and they go, "Did y'all hear that swishing noise in the stairwell?" I said, "It sounded like the petticoats I used to wear when I was in elementary school." No, this is unbelievable. I had told them a word about it.
And then they repeat right back to you exactly what you
Yeah.
heard.
So they would have actually,
Thank you.
Nurses stations originally actually were turned around so that you went down through the hallway here, and you have, you know, one side here and the other side went in that direction, so that was the passageway down through that way.
This be considered third floor?
This is the third floor. Have you got any stories or things you want me to elaborate or confirm
Tammy?
on this floor?
Is it, okay, we had heard that, that the little girl, would kind of,
I'm going this
grab
way. Y'all
people's
stay right
hands
here.
and kind of walk with her through the building and stuff. Have you heard, can you tell us if you've heard that?
I had not heard that any other group had ever seen that little girl until after my experience was made public by this paranormal group who actually did some presentations here for the public. They played recorders, voices and so forth and everything, because the author I was telling you about, he actually wrote a series of letters to the editor and so forth. It actually got the African American population pretty upset, as one preacher put it, and that's what we have mainly surrounding the hospital here. But as one preacher put it, if that building was haunted, there wouldn't be any of us in this neighborhood.
Oh, goodness.
You know, so now there is another child that we saw multiple times.
Charlene?
Huh?
Charlene?
No name. I have no name for her. I'm not saying I know the name. I don't know a name for her. There's only been 2 spirits that I can identify, and we have no identification for her. She might have given a name to one of the other paranormal groups. She never would give a name to us. But she did follow us through the building. But she was more preschool age.
Okay.
Okay. I gotta get my bearings here. Now, I did have several co-workers that said this room was haunted. I never heard anything from the nursing staff. I'm a respiratory therapist. 3 different respiratory therapists I work with said they'd had experiences in this room of things coming up and grabbing them, hugging them, holding them, you know, so forth. Nothing that they ever actually saw or talked to. The office I worked out of was at the end of that hallway down there on the right. Once again, I had coworkers that said they'd be in there late at night, and they said that they could hear the room breathing. Kind of ironic, I think, for respiratory therapists. But I
Very.
never experienced that, and they were the only ones that ever said that, so I don't put a lot of faith in it. This is the only room in the that I've ever been able to identify with staff that actually worked here in the hospital of patients having an experience.
Oh, really?
They never realized they were having an experience, I guess is the best way to put it. They would call out to the nurses station and ask the nurses to come get that guy out of their room that was sitting in the chair.
Really?
And of course, there was never anybody there. And that went on
More than one occasion?
numerous patients.
Oh, okay.
So bad to the point that on the night shift, the African American nurses would not take this room. They always had to give it to somebody else. They would not step foot in this room.
Wow.
And so forth. And staffs would see him sitting there.
They witnessed it
Yeah,
too?
they
huh?
would witness it too.
Wow.
They said as soon as they walk in the room, he'd disappear.
Was any,
know.
was they dressed in any, they,
Just
in period clothing?
They
Or?
said usually just like jeans and a flannel shirt, just like he was visiting them or something. They have no idea, no connection to tie him into anybody that was ever in the room or
Was
anything
any
like
certain
that.
time it like started around the 70s or 80s or?
this
Just
was,
continue to
this
the end?
reported, I heard this originally in the 70s, all the way up until we moved.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
again in the 90s and so forth. Because when I came back in the 70s, I'd ask, oh, yeah, we don't pay attention to that. Yeah, you know. So it's done. We had a lot of things we got to where we had to not pay attention to, or we'd be freaking out. And as I said, I've been in healthcare about 40 years, and in respiratory, the majority of the patients you deal with are in the end stages of their life. And over that time, I guess I've had 4 patients that have told me they were going to die that day, and every one of them has been right, and usually within 2 hours of the time they're telling me that. So I have a strong belief that people know they're going to die before they do.
Yeah.
You know, my boss that I work for, when we came up here with the first group, he came with us, and he asked me about this room. He said, "You remember that room everybody saw somebody sitting in?" And I said, "Yeah." He said, "I had a patient in it I got really close to, a lady. She'd lost her husband a couple of years earlier. And he said, I went in and gave her treatment one day. And she told me that morning, she said, this is going to be my last day. The Lord's called me home, you know." And he said, of course, that makes you perk up. And he said, and she points out there was a wire going kind of from the building across to a pole out there. And he said there was this really big blue bird sitting out there, really strange looking blue bird. And she said, point out there, and she said, that's my husband, he's waiting on me. And he's thinking, well, she's not getting enough oxygen to the brain, she's getting kind of that state. And he said, sure enough, he said about an hour and a half later, they called a code, which is what we page over the hospital when somebody's quit breathing or has a heart attack. And he says, they come in here and I'm working with her, and there's that bird dancing around on that wire and stuff. And he said they finally had to give up and pronounce her dead, and the bird flew off.
Damn.
So,
That's very interesting.
so
Green 60. Tray. Nice.
Thank you.
Trip. Well, you did trip. Nice trip.
What was that?
It says on the. I can't even pronounce it now.
How was that?
There we go. Okay. I'm gonna put the geophone on. Put it right there. Oop. Oh, that's your. That's good.
On the 3rd floor.
Here, let's.
Meeting cabin's on 3rd floor. In the room to the far right were a report of a male subject sitting in a chair while patients were in this room. The patients would call down to the nursing station and tell them to please get the man out of there, and when they come down here, he's gone. We're sitting there recording on the camera there.
Okay. You got everything, or?
So that's my K2. Where's my K2
Oh, it's downstairs. Did you not pick it up from downstairs? Where the mic, the other microphone is? Remember you had it on the,
at? I picked it up from there.
You did?
Yeah. Oh, there it is.
Oh.
Yeah, bucket right there. Put it right there. Is anybody here? Somebody's looking in the hole.
Bill. Group.
Did you hear that? Somebody's walking in the hall. Are you playing something?
What's that?
Are you playing something?
Oh, I have it on the delay.
Oh, okay.
It's on delay.
Okay. Freaked me out. I was like, somebody's walking down the damn hall. Loudly.
Oh, can you hear this?
I heard that's what I.
That's what you heard?
It is.
Yeah.
Is anybody here? I heard there's a man who likes to come in here and sit down with patients that are in here. We're both patients here. Won't you come in here and sit down? Communicate with us. There's our IR. Camera right there. Come talk to us. Can you tell us what your name is?
You can't talk to us. Can you make it a sound, bang on something, knock on something, so that we know that you're here? Just some sort of sign that you're here.
Oh, this is going crazy over there. We just want to have some kind of signal to where we know your presence is here. K2's going off. I don't know if it's from this or not.
Well, you're pointing at it.
Must be. That's odd.
Is that you? Okay, we're still waiting for some sort of sign. Come on now, we know that you've made your presence known to other people that have been here. You weren't pointing at it. Can you come and at least make the lights on that unit light up again like that? The blue lights, make them come on. Otherwise, it's kind of hard to believe that you actually exist. We've heard about a man who was seen in here, who would sit in here, and nurses would walk by and be surprised that he was in here. If you are still here, say something to us, make some noise, touch us, anything, make a shuffling sound so that we know that you're here, or come and sit again like you did before. We're gonna be leaving soon. This is your last opportunity to contact us. Make the most of it. The obelisk hasn't changed at all either. Do you even have a creeped out feeling of that? I don't at all. It just feels.
Yeah, just cold.
Yeah.
Just walk down there and see if we can't get a hold of Mary.
Okay. All right. This with us?
No, let's
And then we'll do that after.
let's go do this and then we'll come back and grab it.
Break with you guys.
We came out of here the first night. The lead of the group told the spirits that, we were here with all due respect, and as a guest, we hope that they accepted us to come in and hopefully communicate with them, built a connection, and so forth. Two spirits told us where to go, and no one said, "You're welcome, you've been the nicest person." This was pediatric floor when I worked here in the 70s. And I took care of a lot of kids on this floor.
It stayed that way up until the hospital closed, was pediatrics.
And closest patient I've had in my 40-year career died up here. We were walking down the hallway. I was kind of in the middle of a group of about 5. We passed a room down there, and all of a sudden 2 of the girls says, "Mark, did you not see that?" And I said, "What?" And they said, "The little girl standing in that doorway just called your name." That was the room she died in.
Oh, wow.
Never seen her since, or I didn't see her that night, but we've never seen her since. How long was she died? She died in that room.
And this one?
And I had not told them anything about her, whatsoever, and they described her perfectly. I mean, it wasn't just color, eyes, hair color, everything.
I can see the emotion that you're.
Yeah.
Stream, basement, reap.
There isn't any children here. My name is Donald.
I'm Gavin.
We just come here to try to communicate with you. There's nothing to be afraid of. If you are here and you can hear us, why don't you come down here and communicate with us? Door's already open, you can come right on in. Why don't you come down here and play with us a little bit? We want to play a game. There's a little device on the floor there with a green light on it. Can you make it change colors? You get real close to it, it'll change different colors, like orange and yellow, red. Got a bunch of different colors on it.
It's that device right there, where my light is. See, you can see the green light there. If you come by it, that's it. See changing color a little bit there? You can make all those lights light up. Can you make another one light up? There you go, number
Wow.
3. Can you make any more light up?
Camera can't see it from where we're at, but, the K2 is lighting up a little bit.
Oh, 1 to 3. Can you do it to 4? Didn't that just go up to 4? Oh, and he's making my other one go. Or was that periscope?
I'm gonna move. I'm gonna put this periscope thing right here. I can't see anything on the screen. I'm gonna move.
What was that?
I don't know.
I was standing still.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I've got it on my computer. And my recorder too.
Yeah, we got the recorder there, we got the camera, something,
It was like a snap sound.
yeah. I'm gonna put this periscope thing right here. I can't see anything on the screen. I'm gonna move.
What was that?
I don't know.
I was standing still.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I've got it on my computer. And my recorder too.
Yeah, we got the recorder there, we got the camera, something,
It was like a snap sound.
yeah. I'm gonna move.
What was that?
I'm gonna move.
What was that?
I'm gonna move.
What was that?
I don't know.
I was standing still.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, I've got it on my computer. And my recorder too.
Yeah, we got the recorder there, we got the camera, something,
It was like a snap sound.
yeah.
Snap sound.
Yeah.
Snap sound.
Yeah.
Snap sound.
Yeah,
Snap sound.
yeah. Are you throwing some of the trash that's on the floor around?
Didn't sound like that.
No. Come in here and touch that green light and make it light up again like you did before.
There we go. Or is that you?
I think it may be me.
Buy what? Buy life insurance? Before time.
Guys, we're fixing to shut this scope down and start getting packed up and all that. Appreciate you watching. Check us out on southernparanormalms.com. southernparanormalms.com. That's our website. You can see a lot of different videos that we've compiled, evidence review, interviews, the whole 9 yards on places we've been, places we're going to be going. We'll be heading back here probably back in June, sometime this summer. We're going to be at when are we going to Natchez? A couple weeks.
A couple of weeks, I believe.
Yeah, we're going to be going to Natchez, Mississippi in a couple weeks to an old Adams County jail. And then after that we got Hell's Dam, which is in Tennessee, not too far. Yeah, that's it. Not too far from here. Then during the summer again, we're going back to Old South Pittsburgh. Anyway, check us out. Check out our videos. Check out our Facebook. Leave us some comments for some places around your area that you know about that's haunted locations. let us know about them. We're always looking for new places to go. We've been kind of the north and the south area. We'd like to get the stuff towards the west, maybe Texas,
Oh,
that way. Oh, does that freak you out?
I just got touched on the top of my head.
Really?
Yeah.
It ain't that thing right there, is it?
No, I'm standing here, so I moved up from the wall. Yeah. I thought it was a wire touching me right on the top of my head.
Really? Gavin just got touched on top of the head.
That was pretty cool.
Anyway, check us out, and we'll see you in a couple weeks. See you in a couple weeks. See you guys. We're fixing to pack up and going home.
This is it.
Got any last things to say? We'll be back in June with Keith Ramsey. I'm sure you know Keith. He's been here before. So we appreciate you letting us come in and look around and try to communicate with you. Thank you very much. We'll see you next time.
We just walked out of the elevator like we're doing, out of the stairwell like we're doing right now. I got that we're upstairs right now. Her groan, I didn't think anything about it. I hear groan so much at work, they don't reading register for me, and I can't even remember the guy that was doing the interviewing or whatever, but he goes, "You didn't hear that?" And I said, "You talking about that groan?" And he said, "Yeah." I said, "Yeah, I just didn't think much about it." I said, "I'm so used to hearing groans around the hospital, I don't think much about it or whatever." And I said, "Besides, I thought maybe it was one of your sound guys or you're, carrying all that equipment behind you and stuff, the cameraman." And they go,
Right down in here, huh?
"Yeah." Oh, you'll hear them. I guarantee you'll hear them before the night's over. You now entered the ICU. Our most critical patients were kept in 2 beds on that side and 2 beds over there. And I guess what you call more or less a step-down unit now were these 3 beds down through here. The very end, every floor at the end has what they used to call a sun porch. Here it was used as a nurse's lounge or whatever. In the 70s, when I worked here, I actually had patients on sun porches. But that was before they really started cutting down, restricting on people being able to get admitted to the hospital and stuff. And so we had to use every square inch we had back then.